Hi everyone. So today's session is all about copywriting, the basics of copywriting, because many of us actually want to know more about copywriting and understand more about copywriting. So we all want to, most of the guys who are actually into content writing also, they want to learn more about copywriting and offer copywriting services as well. And some business owners who want to know how copywriting can impact their business and results. So we wanted to actually have that cover them up also. So in this session, Shreyas is going to cover copywriting in a holistical way, like in a detailed way, like he'll give the basics, everything on basics. So um, so stay tuned, and I'm sure that you will get a lot of insights from this session, basics of copywriting, because Reyes has been working on copywriting quite from quite some time and is working with good brands. So um, these actually initiatives, I'm taking these initiatives as we have launched the club. We were asking people about what they want to learn, what is that which actually matters to them, and we are coming up with topics like that. And uh, we also have one more session about Instagram influencer marketing on Friday by Shraddha Patil. So influencer marketing is also, many people are not able to explore. So agencies who want to explore, they can also explore, and people who don't know about the Niche Marketers Club can actually check out the club. We have launched the club recently, and that's for the more serious marketers out there. So the club, where we are actually providing the opportunity to learn, network, and grow. So if you, I'll share the link of the club and all. In the free time, you can check. And so it's over to you, Shreyas. Happy to have you here. Uh, Please start. And I think some of the guys already responded with some messages like, I'm a copywriter, their introductions are, they work with beauty brands. So, yes, Shreyas, the screen is all yours.
So hi
Please carry
everybody.
on.
Yeah. So hi everybody. Thank you so much, Govardhan sir, for having me here today. And I hope that I will add a value to all writers, copywriters, marketers present in the Zoom meeting today. And this just I want to give you some notes. Like in case during the meeting, if I go offline, just give me 5 minutes. I'll be back online. Sometimes there are some network issues in places where I live, Wi-Fi issues. And if at any time during the session, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Feel free to interrupt. I don't have any issues answering your questions live, or you can note down your questions and we can have a question and answer session at the end.
Let
Okay,
them put
whichever
in
way you
the
feel.
let them put in the chat box, it will be better. And what we can do, in between, sometime we can just break to answer the questions
Sure,
contextually.
sure,
That will be better, because people do not even forget, and they can ask, they can just put those in the chat box. It will be always better,
sure.
or else it will be interrupting the flow a lot. Yeah.
All
Okay, yeah, carry on. You can share the screen also, Shreyas, if you want.
right. I'll share the screen for my. So
Yeah.
I
Okay.
have the. All right, so guys, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. So today we're going to cover the basics of copywriting. So let's get straight to the point. Like what is copywriting? So writing with an intention to persuade the reader to take a particular action. Okay, this is what copywriting means. So what is the basic difference between content writing and copywriting? Content is usually written to educate, create awareness, keep the readers engaged and relevant, or especially when there are no sales happening, for with the purpose of future, with the intention of having them come for like warming them up. Copywriting, when it comes to direct copywriting, it is all about what happens immediately after the person reads the copy. You should immediately take that action. Now that action can be anything. That action can be saving an Instagram post, replying to an email. Most of the time direct response is about buying a particular thing, like buying a tripwire product or maybe a upsell anything. So direct response is whatever happens immediately after a person reads the copy, and content is more about educating, awareness, sometimes even entertaining the read. Okay, so where is copywriting used? Copywriting is used in Facebook ads, Google ads, Amazon ads, product descriptions, landing pages, bridge pages. Okay, landing page is any page that you land on after clicking on the ads. Landing page is a generic term that we use. Okay, the landing page can be a sales page, it can be a form, it can be a lead magnet, anything. So it's not necessary, like not all say, like landing pages are not always sales pages. Okay. Emails are also written by copywriters. Website home pages are also written by home page or website copy written by copywriters. Yes, website copy is also written by copywriters. Video sales letters, this is very important because many of the people don't know what VSL stands for. VSL is video sales letters. Okay, so you have to write the script of the video sales letter wherein the person will read it out to his audience. Okay, a coach or even an e-commerce founder can get a VSL written from you as a copywriter, and he can start he just has to read out the VSL in a natural way. So these are some traditional form of copywriting requirements. Now some newer forms of copywriting are like, along with the growth of like different social media, these are also required. Like screenwriters are required. We see these e-commerce ads, right? Like in e-commerce advertising, not necessarily, it doesn't always it's not always a VSL. It can be a video ad that they want to write, like a funny video ad. For example, if you remember the ad made by Rage Coffee recently, where the girl is tapping on the screen. So as a copywriter, you will have to write that a person is tapping on the screen, everything is muted, the person is not speaking anything, so and so text will be flashed on the video at in so and so position. So that is screenwriting. Okay, Instagram captions are also written by copywriters, especially the ones which are going to be advertised further. Creative copywriters are copywriters which, like, you see in brand awareness campaigns where sales is not a priority, but people should remember that. So recall is a very important parameter when it comes to creative copywriting. And UI UX is like mobile apps. Like what should be the name of the button in the app? Should it be menu? Do you want to use the word menu, or do you want to use the hamburger menu icon? So everything is like decided by copywriters. Okay, and just to give you some future reference, like after there are copywriters, there are copywriting editors, there are senior copywriters, there are copywriting consultants, there are copywriting coaches. So what is the job of a copywriting? There are auditors. Like somebody has written the copy and the client may say that this copy is not performing. So you can you can also be a copywriting auditor, and you can tell them that, hey, I'll audit the copy, and you can see and you can edit the copy as well. So auditing is just telling where the problem is, editing is actually making the improvements in the copy. This is my personal definition that I made, so take it with a pinch of salt. Okay, so yeah, like who's copywriting an ideal profession for? Okay, so there are two basic requirements for you to become a really good copywriter down the line. For anybody to become a good copywriter down as taking up copywriting as a profession. So first is like you need to have curiosity, and the second is love of reading. Well, these are the only two requirements. Okay, and why do you need to be curious, and why do you need to have the love of reading? You need to be curious because to write good copy, you have to be you have to read a lot. You have to read about other people's stuff. Okay, it may not necessarily be something that you are interested in. For example, let us say for e-commerce, let us say I'm writing an ad for beard oil. Now I'm not necessarily excited or very curious about what beard oil is, but because my client is into e-commerce and I'm writing ads for beard oil, I'll have to be curious and I'll have to do research, and I'll have to see like what does the target audience want, and do they want a product which is like covers up the patches in their beard, or do they want a wax, or like. So I'll have to keep researching. So I have to be very curious, and I have to have the love for reading, because a lot of stuff on the internet is in the like written form. love for reading, love for watching YouTube videos. Not, most of the internet is in, text format, so you have to read a lot of uh, you know material before starting to write copy. Okay, so if you have these two things, you are set to become a good copywriter. Okay. So everything else is secondary. I didn't say that you need to be, like have like very good vocabulary. I didn't say that you can't make spelling mistakes. Sentence readability, everything can be done by softwares. Okay. If you have like 10th grade level English, you are, sorted for becoming a copywriter. Okay, because for everything else we have software, for everything else we have apps. For example, for spelling mistakes, if you want to check spell check, you have like Google Docs. If you are writing copy, and I always recommend people to write a copy in Google Docs because it syncs very effortlessly with Grammarly. Okay, and it syncs with a lot of AI tools as well. So I always recommend using Google Docs. In Google Docs, there is inbuilt spell check and grammar checker. You can use Grammarly free version, which is more than enough for, spelling mistakes. Sentence readability can be checked by Hemingway.com website. Okay, so it tells you Hemingway.com. If you go on this website, HemingwayApp.com, it will actually tell you that this sentence is difficult to read, and then you can change it in order to increase its readability. It will tell you how much time it will take for this script to be read. Like if you see a blog, sometimes they write in the caption of the blog or in the subtitle, they will write 2-minute read, 3-minute read. So they're trying to tell you how long the blog is, how much time it will take for an average reader to read the blog. So Hemingway will actually tell you how much time it will take for an average reader to read whatever you have written. Okay, so what you don't need to be like some big guru. Okay, in order to create $1 million plus marketing campaigns, you don't need to be some marketing guru. You don't need to be marketing wizard. Okay, you don't need to be any slick salesman or skilled writer. Okay, you don't have to get caught up in grammar rules and writing rules. Okay, you don't have to be widely creative. People feel that, oh, copywriting is a creative task. Actually, direct response is not like, doesn't require that kind of creativity. Okay, creative copywriters do require creativity, but I would say that direct response is pretty boring and it doesn't require wild creativity. I'll tell you the reason behind it. The reason behind you don't have to be really creative is because if you do enough research, you will find all the text, all the verbiage, all the verbios, that is required to put in a copy from the research itself. So the best copy, according to, I guess, Eugene Schwartz. Eugene Schwartz was a very famous copywriter. So he said that the best copy, if a copywriter tells you he's writing copy, he's lying. Okay, copy is always assembled. Okay, so you can, that is what he said, and I also agree with it, because so much of the material is already being written. You don't need to, start researching something from the scratch and come up with some original idea of yours. If you're able to connect one idea with another, you are pretty much good to go. So it is like, it gets boring after some time, but it's part of a job. Like research gets boring, but good copies come out of a really long research sessions. Okay, and I'll just tell you guys that one of the phrases that it's been ringing in my head. If you are a content writer, if you are a writer, okay, if you're a writer or a content writer, chances are that you will die of uh, uh, poverty. Like you'll die of not having enough money. Chances are, okay, if you have a
Looks like there is an interruption. Sauvik, I think you are stuck. So try joining. Try rejoining again. It's stuck to me actually. I don't know if it is everyone else is able to follow Sriyas.
Same, it's struck at my end also.
Okay, okay. Let him join back. I think he was mentioning it. There were some network challenges. Let him come back and yeah, many times copywriting, people think it's just a mere form of writing, and but businesses definitely can use it, and there's a business angle to it, and because you need to understand the customer well. So research is a huge thing, like he was mentioning about assembling the copy, not writing it. So let him come. Yeah, we are recording the session, and most probably we will be sharing it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought we lost you. So sorry. Hello. You're not able to join back. Ah, yeah, yeah. You can try back. Okay, looks like there is some power failure or something like that. Meanwhile, it's let us use this time to know each other. If someone of you can come before the cam and just introduce yourself to the community, that will be great. Because I am seeing some of you. Okay, I think he has joined.
Yeah, extremely sorry, guys. Extremely sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Carry on, carry on. No problem. Don't worry. Some things are not in our control. So
Yeah, it's like I live in a place where this is very common. That's why I made it very clear that I'll if I lose network, I'll be joining back.
yeah. Okay.
So what you need to have, need to have again healthy level of curiosity, and you need to enjoy reading. Okay, you do need to accept that your big money marketing hooks and big ideas will not come in from inside you. Okay, people feel that they need to be very creative and they will come up with original ideas. So that is not the case. Okay, like in the research itself, you will get the big marketing hooks and what you feel is necessary to in order to create a good campaign. So let's take an example, guys. I'm assuming this is for beginners. Okay, I can see very big names in my Zoom meeting room, and I'm like I'm teaching very basic things. So first of all, thank you for being over here for everybody. Thank you for waiting and tolerating the Wi-Fi disconnects and all the things. So yeah, let's have a look at an example of words in an ad copy affect consumer behavior. Okay, let's take a feel of how it works. Okay, the tagline of a product was as follows. For men, it was being advertised as bring sex into your life. Okay, this is the tagline of a product. So can you tell me what will be the tagline for the same product which is being sold to women? In the comments you can tell, or you can tell by unmuting yourself. Did you guys understand the question? Have a great romantic life, MS is saying. Okay, yeah, pretty close.
Have a great romantic life. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Be attractive to men. Okay, that's also subtle.
Be attractive to men. Okay. See, just as the answers are coming, don't try to make your copy as commands. Okay, be attractive to men feels like a command, so try to avoid it. Okay, get intimacy that lasts longer. Again, yeah, really good. MS, I don't know who MS is like, so like I don't know MS. So
MS,
yeah.
आपका पूरा नाम क्या है?
Madhu Smitha. Okay, Madhu Smitha is giving answers. Okay, yeah, good attempts, Madhu. Like really, that is really acceptable. So when we go and say, what should be? Can you tell the tagline that women for the product is like? We can say bring romance into your life. Okay, so we just changed one word to second, and we got a tagline for a women's product. Okay, now can anybody tell me why we had to change this from sex to romance? For like, why didn't we just keep the tagline for same when the product is same? Can anybody unmute or tell in the comments why we had to give a different tagline for the same product, and just because the gender is changing?
Yeah, Madhu, you want to answer this?
Can I answer? Can I try?
Yeah, please.
Am I audible? Yeah, Shreyas bhai. After a long time.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of yours. I know. Maybe I have been following you on LinkedIn, and basically I got introduced to you through Amar sir.
Okay.
So I have attended your session over there.
Okay.
So it can be the psychology of men to female minds.
Okay.
From my end, I'm telling you.
It's like, can you be a little more specific? Yes, we are talking about copywriting. Everything is related to human psychology. So can you be a little bit more specific as to why we had to change the tagline?
It depends from person to person, how they consume it. Okay, the words are related. This means something to you. This means something to me, and it will differ from person to person. So,
all right.
Not to.
Okay. Like, yeah, it's like a good attempt in answering, but like in order to be like specific, I'll just give the answer. Is that
there are some comments actually, Shreyas?
Yeah. Shovik is saying bring the spark.
No, before that, there is one thing called not socially acceptable.
Not socially acceptable, correct. So that is
a good line.
Correct. So that is more closer to the answer, because women talking about sex is seen as taboo in the society. That is the reason why the word was changed. Okay. Yeah. So that is the correct answer. It is not socially acceptable. It is not seen socially acceptable for women to talk about, and when men talk about it, is seen like, there is not so much taboo about it. Okay. Now comes the next even more interesting part. I want you to add one letter, okay, from 26 English letters to any of these two taglines, okay, and make it 10x more effective. Just one letter you have to pick and place in this sentence, and you have to make this tagline 10x more effective for sales. This is a live case study, I'm telling you. Okay, this is not something that I made up. This is a case study which they did, and they just added one letter to this sentence, and they made it 10x more effective. Can anybody tell?
Okay, so Prashant, words.
Right, correct. So not words, I'm saying letters. So Prashant has answered it correctly. He says that they added brings. Okay, so brings is the correct answer. Okay, so they added the answer of they added S for men, and for women also they added S, and this campaign actually became advertising campaign, became much more successful. Now the question is over here, I want to ask, why did it become successful? Like, why did it become more? Why did adding one letter make the advertising 10 times more effective? I would like to, Prashant, can you answer, since you gave me, I would like to know why that happened. What changed one letter? Correct. So Deepali is saying, right? Other people are saying that it's saying the benefits. Earlier also, the product was talking about the benefit itself. So, but Deepali is very close to the answer. It's saying what the product can do. Earlier sentence, earlier tagline, if you see, it was saying bring sex into your life or bring romance into your life. It felt as if you have to do something. When you say brings, it feels as if the product is going to do something. Okay, so that is the correct answer, Deepali. Thank you so much. People are not satisfied. So this is Aditya, this is not a question about having singular benefit or plural benefit. Okay, we are just changing it. It's who is the doer over here. So we are changing, in a way, we are changing the doer. Earlier the doer was the customer. It felt as if the customer has to do something along with the product, and now it feels as if the product is going to do everything. Okay, so small change, but big difference. So if you understand, like a single word, a single letter can bring about so much change in the campaign. A good copy, you can just imagine how much sales it can bring, right? So when does copywriting become effective? Okay, through stories. Okay, why? Because people on social media come here for stories. A better way to say is that people come on social media for gossip. Okay, people don't come on social media to be sold at. They are here to enjoy. Okay, can anybody tell me if I tell you that I will tell you stories, okay, and you will pay me 200 rupees, will you come? How many of you think will come? Like, not me, just any storyteller. If he tells you that, hey, like I'll pay, like I'll tell you stories and you will have to pay me, how many of you will join? Madhusmita says no. Okay, Deepali is not me. Okay, okay. So like if a person says that I'll be telling stories, random person whom you have never met, whom probably you'll never meet, he says that because it will provide me with experience. So Souvik is ready to go for the story. Dheeraj again is saying no. Okay, okay. But one thing I would like to tell you guys is that what if I tell you that you already have done it? Like, you already have paid so many times for it. Can anybody tell me?
Movies.
Correct. So movies is a form of storytelling at its peak. Like, you get audio input, visual input, you're put in a dark room and with no distractions, and all your senses are fixed on the movie. And I know people who have got movie tickets for 5,000 rupees, 1,000 rupees, 500 rupees, 200 rupees, right? So you all have paid for movies. Okay. So yeah, how much of copywriting is actually writing? 80% or sometimes even more of copywriting is actually copy researching. Okay, a good copy is not written, it is assembled, like I said, Eugene Schwartz. Okay, less than 20% of copy is actually written, writing stuff down. So most of your task is going to be research. And I was not able to complete myself before. I was saying that a writer, there is a high chance of him dying of poverty because writing is one of the lowest paid jobs in the world. Copywriting, on the other hand, is one of the highest paid jobs in the world. And a copywriter will die of boredom, okay, because 80% of his job is actually copy researching. Okay, so he has to see. In the beginning, I said only two qualities. I said you have to be curious, and I said you have to have the love, the love of reading. I didn't even say that you have to write, because less than 20% is actually writing. Right? So the writing part is like very minimum, right? So the prerequisites, if you remember at the beginning of the session, which I said. Sorry. So who wins the game of copywriting? Okay, so the game of copywriting is won in research, because more than 80% of copywriting is done, is research. So whoever does more research, he will end up writing better copy, and he will get his copy will become the control. Now, what is control? Control is a copy who is not beaten by other copies. Okay, you all are aware about the split testing feature, right? Like you can change everything in an ad, and you can change the headline. So the ad with a different headline becomes the second split. Okay, so if the ad headline is better, that headline will give more sales. It is called bandit testing. Okay, it's called bandit split testing, where the Facebook allocates all the advertising money to the copy which is performing better, and it stops giving funds to the copy which is not performing better. So that is called split test. So you can write split test winning ads, and whoever ad becomes a split test winner, it's called a control. Okay, it is like saying that pole position. Pole position is like in F1 we have pole positions, right? So in copywriting we have control. So you have in copy, you have to write what the reader wants to read, not what you want to write. Okay, so people who feel that, oh, I'm a writer, I'm very good in vocabulary, but they can't understand what the person wants to read or will enjoy reading, they end up becoming they end up failing at copywriting. Okay, so the reader should get a clear understanding of the following question: what's in it for me? It is called WIIFM. Okay, it is called this parameter is the basic parameter while writing copies. This parameter has to be fulfilled. What's in it for me? Okay, I'll tell you something. Like if somebody gives you a newspaper, are you interested in reading the news, or are you interested in seeing the ads? If you're coming on social media, are you interested in the organic posts, or in the organic or in the paid advertising, right? If somebody is advertising you, you're not, you hate, people hate ads. Okay, so in order to make ads interesting, you have to write what people are interested in. You can't tell what you are interested in. Okay, and if you're able to achieve this, half of your work is done. Like more than half of your work is done just by understanding what the reader will enjoy reading. Okay, so this is the rule that you need to remember. I'm sorry if I'm speaking in very basic language. I'm assuming that everybody are new copywriters over here, so please forgive me if you find this is as very basic. Okay, consumers are, consumers are emotional buyers. Okay, so you have to write a copy in a very emotional way, like something that will make them emotional to buy. Okay, and you have to identify, like this is one of the exercise that I always do personally, and I would recommend anybody who's willing, like wanting to become a copywriter, they also do this exercise. Whenever they check out an ad, whenever they watch an ad, try to find out the one big marketing idea, the one big emotion, and the one offer which the ad is throwing at them. Okay, sorry for the typo over here. So generally an ad has one big idea, one big emotion, and one big offer. But advertising, like creative advertisements, can have multiple ideas, multiple emotions, and multiple offers as well. But in direct response, it is recommended to have one big marketing idea, one big emotion, and one big offer as well, especially in direct response. Okay, so let's take a look at the Happydent Palace ad. Okay, and I have a video that I want to share. So can you guys see the video screen?
It's loading, says.
Can you see it now?
No, it's just loading. It's a blank black screen.
Okay. Let me just stop my share and reshare. So let's see if it's like if I'm able to share it.
You share full desktop, then I think it will work.
Okay. Can you see the screen now?
Yeah. Yes.
So, all right. So this is the ad. Is it audible? Can everybody hear it? Like listen to it? The ad.
Not yet.
Play it.
Okay, it's visible, right? At least it's visible, correct?
It's visible.
Yeah.
You're on mute, Suresh. You're on mute, Suresh.
Yeah, how did you find the advertisement? Like, what do you think of the advertisement? Like, can anybody unmute and like say like how did they find the advertisement to be? Was it good ad? Was it a bad ad? You know, can anybody express their views? It was a bad ad. Okay, Devdutt is saying it's a bad ad. It's vague. Souvik Chaudhary is saying it's vague. Okay. Any other thing? Any other comments? You can unmute yourself and speak. Okay. Found no meaning in it. Could not understand. Okay.
It's actually, I want to share, this ad has become very popular. Actually, it came on TV.
Good idea. Vijay Kumar is saying, Vijay Kumar sir is actually one of like he's big copywriter, so he's also there. Thank you, sir, for being here. Thank you everybody for being here once again. Okay, Pawan Chand is saying he can remember. He's remember. Okay, humorous plus stresses on the fact that whitens teeth like crazy. Okay, Vijay sir is in the house. Yeah, it's a super hit advertisement from 2 decades ago. Yeah, it's a very like good ad, but yeah, it's like it's add something that has to be talked about. Anybody else would like to say anything? It grabs audience's attention. Correct?
Suresh, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can.
So one, I think it encashes on the one big idea, which is like sparkling clean teeth.
Correct.
And that was the tagline they used in that chewing gum also.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to actually highlight that specific thing.
Correct. So just for other people here in the house, I would like to tell that this ad is actually, Happydent Palace 20 best ads of 21st century. Okay. And so it's like the reason why, I have also given the link to the article as over here. So the reason why this is like, what do you think are the reasons? Now that you know that the ad was one of the best ads, can anybody tell why do you think that the ad was that good? So can anybody point out the emotions that they tried to spark within the viewers? So like Govardhan sir said, and some, Vijay sir said that it is actually a good ad. It's a super hit ad. I think somebody had said that it's a super hit ad. So yeah, it is a super hit ad. But why? What emotions did they try to capitalize on? Can anybody say? You can unmute yourself and speak our comment. Like I said, right? Like every time you come across an ad, you have to see what emotions are being evoked. It's a different approach. Original thought, groundbreaking. Okay. Electricity, importance of electricity. It's a different approach. Okay. The idea of eating chewing gum, but was certainly new to Indians at that time. Okay. Close. Ashish Maru.
Shreyas, yeah, Sanket here. I think it had a story. It kept the audience engaged because the man was continuously running till the end. We had no idea why the guy is running in different scenarios till he reached and just opened his mouth to, show his teeth. So this showed what exactly they wanted to show is the importance that guy had, the importance that guy had to show the light, or a similar kind of.
All right, all right. So we got a pretty, thank you so much for answering. It's pretty close to what you said. So in order to like articulate in words, the ad was actually capitalizing on curiosity, nostalgia, and humor. Okay. So all these three emotions were being used. If you see the video, it is in olden days. Okay. The video is from the olden days of Raja Maharaja living in, castles, and they have all these servants and slaves. And if you see, there is a lot of curiosity right from the beginning of the video. You don't know where that person is running from, running to, like, somebody just answered. I'm so sorry, I forgot the name. So it was pretty accurate. So it takes you from a feeling of olden days where you feel nostalgia, and it makes you laugh, and it has curiosity in it. So here I would like to tell some other important points when it comes to copywriting. People always say how big the copy should be. Should it be a small copy? Should it be long? Should it be short form copy or long form copy? Okay. As long as you're able to keep the audience interested and curious in what the next sentence is, it doesn't matter how big or small the copy is. Okay. Right. People say that, like we should have short form copy because, the audience attention span is decreasing day by day. And then on the other hand, we have people who will watch 10 episodes of a web series on a single day, right? So we have these two extremes. On one end, we are saying that audience spans, like attention spans, are decreasing. On the other end, we have people who are watching a web series in a single day. So I would like to give you a simple formula. Attention span is equals to your ability to write curious copy, okay, which holds the attention. The very purpose of the first sentence of the copy is to take the reader to the next sentence. And if you can do this, and if you can keep the reader curious, you can write as big copies as you want, and the reader will still keep reading it. Okay. Also here I would like to say, don't like keep repeating yourself, don't have redundancy in your copy, and don't over explain. Okay. As long as all the information is being covered and there is clarity, and you can keep the person curious for as long as possible. Okay. Another important thing that I would like to tell you over here is nostalgia. Okay. One of the most important things in advertising is this: they saw that whenever they use the word new, NEW, the sales were increasing. Okay. So people are really curious about something new happening, like new product. You see this Tide advertising. Tide powder is the same for 20 years. Okay. Tide powder. Okay. But every time they will say new Tide powder, like I'm watching the same, like I have the same powder in my house and it's the same thing it does, but every time they will have to tell in the advertisement like it's new. Something they will change here and there and they will say it's new. Okay, because it is a marketing trick, because people feel that, oh, it's new, something, it will change, because in the past some other washing powder did not work out for them, and this is new and this will work out. Okay, so there is this feeling of newness that actually sells. Also, if you see, they use nostalgia. So what is the purpose of nostalgia? Can anybody tell me which emotion is being used, triggered by nostalgia? Can anybody tell me which emotion is triggered by nostalgia in the comments? Childhood, okay. Happiness, good old days, okay. Okay. So I'll just tell you what nostalgia does. Nostalgia makes you feel safe. Okay. The entire game of sales is in the feeling of safety. Okay. I'll tell you how. People feel that when it comes to selling something, what do you think is the biggest deciding factor when it comes to selling something? Can anybody answer? Which is the
risk?
Sorry?
Lowering the
benefits.
Benefits. Okay. No, biggest deciding factor. Okay.
Sell emotions.
Yeah, trust. So somebody said trust. Let me see who is that. Dave Dutt is saying trust. So trust is the correct answer. Okay. If you can trust a person, if you know a person who tells you that he will give you 2 rupees if you give him 1 rupee, and if you trust him, if you are broke, you will go and rob a bank and give him, crores of rupees. Why? Because you absolutely trust that person. Okay. He has you absolutely trust that person. And if you know that he will give you 2 rupees back, what you will do is like you will go and rob a bank, and I personally will go and rob a bank and give that person 1 crore rupees, and he will give me 2 rupees back, because I trust him. Okay, so trust is the biggest deciding factor when it comes to sales. Okay, and like, what does trust feel like? Trust feels like safety. Okay, so like you see like every time whenever you are hesitant, it feels like danger. Okay, so two basic emotions are taking place all the time. It is called the fast, thinking fast and slow. And if you do some basic advanced research, you will understand that all emotions boil down into either danger or safety. Whenever a financial transaction is happening, it is happening out of trust and the feeling of safety. You go and check, like, if the last time you bought vegetables from a vegetable vendor, okay, you gave him the money, how safe you feel? Like, because you can see the vegetables there, right? Like, that was the problem. That is the problem that you need to cover on online shopping, right? People can't see it in person, they can't taste it, they can't touch it, they can't experience it. Okay, so if that experience you're able to cover with copy, your copy will start becoming effective. So you have to make the person feel safe, okay, while selling the copy. And trust is actually safety, the feeling of safety. Okay, right? So
Shreyas,
yeah,
once before we go ahead, there are few questions which we can actually take.
sure.
Someone has asked about website home pages and bridge pages. Maybe it's not a question, I'm not sure. Souvik was talking
okay,
about.
so maybe it's like he's asking what are website homepages, and like maybe he's asking.
I wanted to just inquire about the purpose of both the set of rules actually.
Okay. So bridge pages are like can be used for a variety of purposes. It can be used for some setting up a ground, and then on the next page you just make a sale and go away. Or it can be used as a basic sales page, like somewhere you sell a small thing, and then there is an upsell on a bigger sales page on the next page. So that can be like, bridge pages are usually smaller in size. Maybe they just have a VSL on it, and there is a button which leads to the next page, so that it confirms that okay, you are going now to even better copy, like, or not a better copy, but to the next stage of buying. Okay, so it can be used in a variety of ways to keep a person engaged. And for the homepage, you need to have good copy, because people need to remember when they come. Everything should become clear in the first 5 seconds of a person reaching a website. Okay, like the moment they come on a website, they land on a website, in the first 5 to 10 seconds, they should be able to understand what they are going to get, what you are offering, and how much time it will take, what it will cost, and what they need to do next. Okay, do they need to scroll down, do they need to click the CTA button, what happens after they click the first CTA button? It is called the hero shot. Okay, hero shot will have the hero image, like a hero text and everything, which will basically tell what the person will become after taking action on the copy. And the hero copy or the hero shot is same for the website copy as well as for the sales copy. Okay, I hope I answered your questions.
There's one more question in this, like difference between direct response and creative copywriting.
Great. So direct response is all about which is happening right now. If I write the copy right now, if I say myself that if I'm a direct response copywriter, people should read my ad and they should buy immediately, that moment. Okay, they should read my ad and buy. Okay, when it comes to creative copywriting, it is like direct response is directly related to sales. Okay, there is instant connection. You can instantly see how the copy is affecting sales. Creative copywriting, on the other hand, it doesn't need to be related to sales. It can be done for entertaining purposes. It can be done for educational purposes. It can be done for awareness purposes. Most of the brand awareness campaigns are creative. Okay. However, I would like to tell one of the points. When we saw the Happydent ad, it was so impactful, it was so successful, the Happydent ad, that they had to shut down the ad because the demand for Happydent rose too much. Like, people just wanted Happydent. and they had to shut down the ad. So it's not that creative advertisement is not connected to sales. But when it comes to digital marketing, especially, or direct response mail, if you send out a copy to a group of readers, you can actually measure its direct correlation if with that copy. So that is direct response and creative copywriting difference.
Yeah, I hope Souvik has got his question answered. And one more question is,
in the meantime, I'll just go back to again to the question, like creative copywriting, there can be a time lag between a person watching an ad and actually purchasing the product or the service.
One more question is like, please tell us the different places where we can do research.
All right. So this is so research. Basically, first start with Google. Okay, start with it depends upon what kind of copy you're writing. So, so there are specific pages where you will find a specific type of copy. If you're writing for personal brands, you can go on Forbes. You can go on YouTube videos. Right. If you're writing for e-commerce, you need to go on Amazon. If you're writing for coaches and consultants, you can go in the book section of Amazon. So if you're writing for SaaS products, you need to go on Crunchbase. So different platforms will give you different copy for different products or services that you need to see.
Okay.
It's not a very short answer. I've tried to answer it in very short, but let me just give out a list. So right, as like I've not written it down anywhere, but Google, Pinterest, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all social media platforms, cover all social media platforms, then go to blogging sites, go to Medium, go to Forbes, BuzzFeed, everything like. Yeah, there are too much. Like you never know where you will get a good copy from. Okay, it is called copy mining. It's like mining for gold. You have to dig a mountain of gold and then you'll find some some small grams of gold somewhere. So it is like mining into the internet, and then like you never know when you'll get a good copy. And the moment you get the good copy, just take that piece and bookmark it somewhere.
Yeah, one more question is there from Vivek Pillai. You said the successful ads have one big idea and one big emotion. Is there a way we can test the effectiveness of the ad before we roll out?
Okay, this is a very good question. So there are certain ways in which you can do it actually. So you can ask a particular set. It is in digital marketing space, we call it go organic first. So when it comes to coaching and consulting, I'll just give an example. Many coaches and consultants, they want to start their courses. They want to launch their course with Facebook and Google ads. So it is always said that go organic, put out the ad copy on your Facebook feed, see how many people engage, see what questions they have. Okay, this is one way. Just go organic, ask a particular group of set of people who like, and that set of people doesn't need to be any kind of people. They need to, I always tell copywriters to have two assumptions in their minds. Which two assumptions? People, the target customer should have the money and they should have the willingness to buy. Okay, they should be that problem aware, and they should have the money and they should have the willingness. Okay, so this is some characteristics that you can consider. Depends on what product are you trying to sell. So on basis of that, we can decide what organic thing we can do, because there are a lot of platforms like Amazon also has a platform where you can create a form and you can show it to an audience and the audience will give you a review. Okay, so that is how testing can be done. But yes, there are ways you will need to spend money. I'm not saying that you won't need to spend money, but the money will be like very less. Like you don't need to waste money. It will not be a huge budget. Like on smaller budgets, you can go on platforms where people are ready to give reviews and take paid reviews and paid surveys, and you can ask questions, and from the answers you can take. Okay, and another thing that you can do is like, if let us say it's an e-commerce product, so or a SaaS product, then SaaS product will have some review platforms, and e-commerce will obviously have, like Amazon is one of the biggest e-commerce platforms there. People are giving reviews. Check out what are the pain points people are mentioning again and again. See how much frequency it is occurring. right? With what frequency is that e-commerce product being said that it is highly beneficial or it is not that good? What are the problems people facing? And then create a copy, a marketing message, and have that as your main marketing message. Okay, Vivek, I hope I answered your question, Bill.
Yeah, I think it's answered. Yeah, definitely, it's not a simple question to be answered. It's like it's a challenging thing even after.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Another thing that you can do is like you can ask fellow copywriters who have advertised for a similar product or a service before you. So they can take a look at your copy and messaging, and they can tell you how good or bad your copy is. But there is a lot of bias. There are chances of bias being involved. Again,
do you think if this guy has a reasonable group or reasonable followers on social media, if they post the content which is similar to the advertising or something, and see how it is resonating with the audience?
No, that is not recommended if the product is going to be launched on a bigger scale. Why? Because the sample size is way too random. Like your friend circle can be anybody. It can be some guy who's just catfishing with a girl's name.
No, not the friend circle. I mean to say if there's a relevant group or something like that, which is having a, let us say there are some
definitely there are test. Yes, that is there are websites where there are test groups where there are groups of copywriters who have written copy for that, and you can show them that, hey, this is the copy that I've written, and they will actually give you inputs on the copy. So even before you launch your copy, a group of copywriters give you inputs. Then you can do a similar thing with forms. By creating forms, you can do it with like testing it out. So I'm not saying that no cost testing is possible. I'm saying that low cost testing is possible. Okay. Is there any other question?
Yeah, please continue. We can again take the questions.
Okay. So you have to constantly imagine this. Okay. See your audience in this state. Okay. What is this? The Nana Patekar is saying, though, Tome can Achu is like, this is what the emotion is of your target audience when they see an ad. Okay. Because they are not there to see an ad. They are there on social media. So, the audience is only going to read what is going to be interesting to them. And sorry, there is a typo here. Feels beneficial. Audience is merciless and cold-hearted. Okay. Audience doesn't care. Okay. That product may be life-changing for them. That service may be life-changing for them, but your audience doesn't care at all. Okay. So you have to be very, very careful. You have to write only what interests them. You can't write what you want to write. Okay. A single sentence which doesn't interest them, or a single word if they don't understand, they're not going to read the ad. They are not going to read the copy any further. They will just abandon you. Okay. Nobody cares. Okay. Like no target audience cares. Okay. You have to write what they find interesting. That is the biggest challenge. Okay. So that is why it is said that empathy is a copywriter's superpower. Can anybody tell me what empathy is? How many of you know what empathy is? On social media, you see all the time, oh, you have to be tolerant, you have to be empathy, you have to show some empathy. People are just getting offended, and on the other end, people are saying, oh, you have to be empathic. So can anybody tell me what empathy means? Relatability. Okay, so relating to their feelings. Okay. So okay, let me put it in a better way. Can anybody tell me the difference between sympathy and empathy? Your emotions is in sync with the reader. Okay. So in sympathy also, your emotions are in sync with the person. So what is the difference between sympathy and empathy? Okay, Dev Dutt is saying sympathy means you are better. Okay, is there a better way to say what sympathy means? Shall is saying empathy is your concern. In sympathy also you're concerned about someone. Sympathy is when you console someone. Empathy is when you feel like you're going through a similar situation. Dipali, okay. There is a very thin line between the two. Okay. So what is that thin line? sympathy is feeling of pity, and Vivek, okay, this is very close to the answer. Vivek is saying that sympathy is feeling of pity and empathy is feeling of concern. Okay. Deepali, Chidar, you can care, you're empathetic. Okay. Okay. See, the reason why you feel sympathy towards somebody is because you care. If you are not, you're cold-hearted, you won't even feel sympathy, right? You'll just walk up. So I'll tell you what is the difference between sympathy. A very, very good answers. Thank you so much, guys. A closest answer is like be given by Vivek over here. Sympathy is feeling of pity and empathy is feeling of concern. So I'll tell you how to understand what sympathy and empathy is. Let us say there is a person who's facing an issue. Okay, saying to the person, "Hey, I understand your pain, but I can't do anything about it," is sympathy. Okay, empathy is like, "Hey, I understand your pain. This is what you need to do about it." When you show him the solution, that is empathy. Okay, in sympathy, you say that, "Oh, this is the problem and you can't do anything about it." There is a feeling of helplessness in sympathy. Okay, you can't take any action. "Oh, this is the, I don't know what to do." Okay, that is sympathy. So you feel concerned, you feel their pain, you feel sorry for them, but you can't do anything, or they can't do anything. In empathy, you feel their pain, you feel their frustration, and you know how to guide them, and you have done it, or maybe you have seen somebody do it, and you feel that, oh, there is a way out, and you can show them the way out. Then you are empath. Okay, so that is the biggest difference between empathy and sympathy. So as a copywriter, you need to be empath. Now, why is it not enough to be a show sympathy? Is because in sympathy you don't know where to take the reader, right? And in empathy, I can actually, there is actually a formula for this. It is called PASS: problem, agitation, and solution. Okay, you start a copy with the problem, you agitate the problem, and then you show them the solution. So this is what empathy means. You're showing them the solution through the copy itself. Okay, like for example, like let us take a example of coaches, a mathematics coach. Okay, say that you're poor in maths, you're not able to do calculate. So I'll teach you abacus, and I'll teach you abacus in 2 days. So this, I'm just throwing away some words. Okay, don't consider this as my copywriting skill. Okay, so this is what he said, that okay, I can understand that you can't do maths. I will teach you abacus in 2 days. So what he's addressing your pain point, and he's addressing the solution. So that is empathy. Okay, you need to be empath. You need to show a lot of empathy in your copy. And that is one thing that I feel that copywriters need to learn by themselves. I'm not saying that empathy is something that is inborn within you. Empathy, you can definitely develop empathy for others. Okay, it is not. It is, consider it as a skill instead of an inherent quality. You can definitely develop empathy for others, and it will, make you a good human being and definitely a great copywriter. So, should you consider becoming a good copywriter? So let's go on the pros and cons of becoming a copywriter. First pro is obviously money. Highest paid skill in marketing, one of the highest paid skills in the world as well. Can get remote jobs if you are into digital marketing. I'm working for worldwide brands, global brands. Okay, and you can work with global clients. It's slowly gaining traction. In India, because in India, people don't understand the difference between content and copy. They are like they don't respect content writers and they don't respect connectors. And they feel that, oh, you just have to write a few words. Why are you charging so much? What they don't understand is that those few words are actually connecting the brand with the audience and connecting the sale with the pockets of their target consumers. So what are the cons of becoming copywriter? Okay, first of all, it is highly competitive. Copywriting or content writing is highly competitive. Let me give you some reference. Okay, the number of English speaking people in India is more than the number of English speaking people in US and Canada combined. Okay, so we have a lot of people who can speak English, right? And it's more than the number of people who are native English speakers. Okay, there is low entry value. For let us take any other marketing skill. Design, you need to know Adobe XD, you need to know Canva, you need to know Figma. Okay, there is some platform which you need to understand, and then you can make good design. Okay, but when it comes to copy, as long as you are good with Google Docs and you can type, you are a copywriter. anybody's anybody can start advertising themselves as a copywriter or a content writer. So low entry barrier. Okay, Indians don't understand the difference. Okay, another big con over here is like AI is gaining traction. Artificial intelligence is writing really good copy. Okay, so these are the cons. And yeah, we are coming towards the end, and I don't want this session to be just me talking and you listening and words happening. So let us have this exercise at the end. I'm sure it will add a lot of value to you guys. In copy, you need to add short sentences. Okay, and we are going to do this exercise live. So this is the sentence. Oh, sorry. Right. Okay, this is the sentence, example sentence. How many of you can make it shorter? What are your thoughts on this? You have to make this sentence shorter. Great. Madhusmita has answered this. She's saying thoughts. Okay. Thoughts is just one word. You converted the entire sentence into one word, so you shortened it. So that is one exercise. So try to do it to a lot of other sentences. See, take a paragraph which is 4 or 5 sentences in length. Try to make that paragraph into 2 or 3 sentences in length. Now go to the sentences. Take a sentence which is like 10 words or 15 words in length. Try to reduce the number of words. That is where your skill and vocabulary is, like your brain is trying to understand how to simplify it. Okay, simplify as well as shorten. Don't use high-fi words in like that will actually complicate the copy. So you have to use simple language as well as short copy. Okay, so what is the lesson that we learned from here? Anybody can communicate more with more. The challenge and the skill, a skilled copywriter will communicate more with less. So with lesser words, he will communicate more. Okay, another we have this okay, another exercise we have is like you have conversation. It should feel as if the ad is talking with you. So how can you do this? So this is a sample sentence. Still thinking about it. So how will you rewrite it? Can anybody rewrite it? Now here, remember, when I said exercise number 1, and when I asked you to reduce the length of the sentence, that is one part. You can't just go by that part. If at any moment you feel that you need a bigger sentence in order to communicate some bigger idea, you can use more words as well. So can anybody make this copy a little bit more conversational? Are you thinking any thoughts? Can anybody try any more options? Right. Still thinking is actually, Vivek, is like reducing. We wanted more conversational. Okay. Oh, so we have got a very good answer. I know you are still thinking about it. So that is really good. So what you say is that you say like still thinking about is like, you're just, it doesn't feel conversational, right? In normal people, 2 people talking to each other won't say this, right? Still thinking about it. Like, I see that you're still thinking about it. Like that feels a bit conversational. I know you're still thinking about it. That feels conversational. That feels as if the person is standing there in front of you and talking to you. Your ad, consider your ad to be a person, and he should stand there and talk with you. Okay. Now what? Okay. Now what is not something, but yeah, like it can be used. So it should feel as if your ad is a person, and that person is standing in front of you and talking with you. That is what I mean by having conversation. Okay, now let's have some shortcuts. Okay, there are shortcuts in life. I believe in shortcuts. I don't know about you. So yeah, what are the shortcuts? Read good copy. Okay, you don't become a good copywriter by reading about good copywriting. You become good copywriter by reading good copy. Okay, remember that. You don't become a good copywriter by reading about copywriting. You become a good copywriter by reading good copy. Or another way of saying is that, better way of saying it is like, it will be easier for you to become a good copywriter if you read good copy. If you tear down good copy, if you break down good copy, then it will become easier for you to become a good copywriter rather than just reading textbooks about copywriting. Okay, you have to read successful controls, create a swipe file. Whenever you feel that, oh, this copy is good, just swipe it, screenshot it, keep a folder. The biggest copywriters have the biggest swipe files. Okay. And you can go over here. Swipe.co is actually, a website for, swipe copies. And obviously you have to read books on copywriting because it will save you years of experimentation. My personal favorite is Scientific Advertising. If anybody requires this book, feel free to reach out to me. I can share the PDF. Okay. So again, we have some shortcuts. Subscribe to emails by A-list copywriters. So make a list of all A-list copywriters, like who are A-list copywriters. We have Vijay Kumar. I don't know whether he's there, like in this meeting. Okay, big copywriters. I think when I say A-list copywriters, what I'm saying is like A-list marketers. Okay, so they can be anybody. So they can be designers. They can be email marketers. Any marketer, if is successful, that means he's good at copy, because copy is the basis of marketing. Okay, so Vijay Kumar, you can subscribe to his. There is a group, Facebook group of him. Other names are like, I think Ashish Maru is also like a big guy who's there present in this room. We have a lot of like marketers who are working on the ground, who are doing really good. Okay, other big names are like we have Gopal Krishnan sir, we have Amar sir, we have from India, we have Vijay sir from India, then we have Kevin Rogers, Stephen Goggy, so many A-list copywriters, right? So you can, some of them are dead and they have written books and you can read those books, and some of them are alive and they have YouTube channels. Alex Kettoni has a YouTube channel. Mike, Kyle Milligan has a YouTube channel, right? Rafiqul Islam from Niche, is doing a really good job when it comes to content marketing. And content marketing, he shares in his newsletter a lot of copywriting resources as well. Okay, so do subscribe to them, right? Hack some successful funnels, tear down some successful funnels. I wouldn't suggest you writing from the scratch. They actually suggest you to hand copy successful copy, but if you read it with full attention, you'll be able to grasp. Okay. Get someone to critique your copy. Okay. When I was in my early days as a copywriter, in the early days, in like few months back, I reached out to a European copywriter. I asked him how much he would charge for critiquing my copy. Okay. I didn't even know there are charges. I just said, can you critique my copy? And he said, I charge for copy critiquing. Then I said, okay, how much do you charge for copy critiquing? He said 600 euro. 600 euro. It was like so many much more, like, you can imagine if for copy critiquing, he's charging 600 euros from Europe. Obviously, he's living in Europe. He's more experienced. But get somebody to critique your copy. No need to pay that much, like, but have somebody to critique your copy. Get a mentor. Join some live copywriting course. Join copywriting groups on Facebook. Content groups, like I said, like Amar sir has, Vijay sir has, Rafiqul Islam keeps sharing in Niche Marketers as well.
नुसतं ते तिकडनं दाबलं बी कमी होते मी तसंच करते.
I don't know where is this voice coming from.
It's coming from my other mobile. Just a minute. Okay.
बरोबर बरं आता काय बंदच करून
Okay. Is there an interruption? I guess I don't know. Let me check if there are any other questions.
Yeah, hello guys. Sorry for the discontinuation. Like, sorry for abruptly discontinuing. Okay, so we have like another best shortcut to become great copywriters. Like, you have to understand people, understand emotions, and it is one of the biggest hacks and shortcuts in order to become a good copywriter. Okay, so Okay, so how do you understand people? Like, this is the biggest shortcut. If you understand people, this is the biggest shortcut to become a copywriter, right? So how do you actually understand people? Can anybody tell? How can you understand people?
Active listening.
Okay.
Madhusmita says active listening. I think we need to develop the skill of perception. We need to understand
By knowing what bothers them, their concerns. Okay. Okay. So I'll just you know I'll just tell you how you can do this. You can start understanding other people if you start understanding yourself. Okay. Everybody feels that they are unique and whatever is happening to them is very special. It's not like that. Okay. This is the reason why me, European audience or Australian audience. Why? Because human beings all over the world, if you understand yourself, you understand a lot of people, right? So whatever secrets of human mind, human emotion, and psyche are there already inside you. You don't need to go and look out, like and better. Okay. So you stay detached. Okay. Feel all emotions from everybody, but stay detached. Okay. It's like researching. When you're writing, you're feeling, but stay detached. So this will help you. And another thing is that, like, there is a very famous quote: "No tears in the writer, no tears in the reader." What this means is that if you don't feel that emotion, right, most of the times the reader is not going to feel that emotion. So feel everything, but stay detached. Okay. If you're not excited, probably the reader is not going to be excited as well. Emotion is going to flow in your writing, and that writing is going to recreate that emotion in the reader. Okay. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. I guess 19 people have stayed. Thank you so much for tolerating me for the last whatever time that we have spoken together. I hope I added value to you guys. And if you have any comments, criticism, inputs, feel free to share right now by unmuting yourself in the comments or in person if you feel that something offended you, or something which I said that you did not like, or something that I could have said it in a better way. Thank you so much. And if you to show your appreciation, you can do it in person as well. So I'm open to both negative as well as positive feedback. Okay. And if you want, I can share my social media links with you guys. And special thanks to Govardhan who actually gave me this opportunity of active members. And these are genuine people who are actually like the group suggests, the name suggests, they are, niche down people. Okay. People who work in connect with them as well. I'll just try to share the links with you guys to share this now.
You can copy that and share it in the chat, Shreyas. And
okay, I'll share it.
Yeah, I'm seeing some new names here. Maybe some of them don't know me even. So we are also sharing the Facebook group link. We have a group, niche marketers. So interested people can join there, because someone who has stayed till this time means they have that kind of interest and inclination. So they can even join our Facebook group as well. And looks like the session is jam packed. Yeah, definitely a lot of value. And there was a question somewhere at 10:54. I guess it's not answered or something like that. How can we feel emotional for a product or service we never used or knew much about? Uh, I think that's how the cinema actors act something. You should start researching about that person or product. And every product is a pain point. So maybe Shreyas can answer it better. I'm not sure if he is actually.
I was not able to listen to the question.
Yeah, I think your
Can
network
you please
is
repeat?
quite interruptive. The question is like, how can we feel emotional for a product
Yeah.
we never used or knew much about?
Correct. So, um, like I said, basic emotions that cover in pop that will give you like math. That during research you get some few
Shreyas,
phrases which the target audience
switch off your
is
video.
using,
Switch off your video so that you can save some bandwidth for yourself.
and you can use those keyword phrases. Sure. So like you can during research itself, if you try to understand what emotions are coming through the copy, and if you feel that that can be a really big pain point, if it's coming back frequently, you can just put it in your copy, and that will solve a lot of your issues.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You should feel it, and without that, that's correct. And one more question is how to hook people to read the second line from the first line and so on. How to maintain the flow. Souvik, I think Shreyas, you got the question.
Yeah, I got the question. So it is like, it's kind of like an intangible skill which I find it very difficult to explain it at this particular moment to you. If I get some more clarity, I'll definitely reach out to you in person. I'll try to answer it, because this is something that, for me, it has come naturally. I'm able to write copy which people are like, just, I want to read the next. I'm not saying this because I want to appreciate myself. Like, sometimes I write bad copies as well. It's not that I write, but like, if you as long as you're talking about what benefits them, they're going to keep reading, basically. So you have to understand what the reader wants. Like, let me give you an example. Okay, let me just give you an example right here. If you guys have the time, this is a really good example. Okay, so let us say we are advertising for e-commerce for beard oil. Okay, now let us say we are writing a copy which says cover patchy beard with XYZ beard oil. Okay, so what you told them the pain point. Oh, patchy beard, I don't want a patchy beard. I want a thick beard, and this hair oil will help me. Okay, so now this is like something, a feature copy. Okay, this is also a little bit interesting. Now if you want to make the reader read the next line, you have to make them emotional, and you have to make them visualize. Okay, so here is what you can do, and I'll type it in, like, so what you can do is, like, instead of saying cover patchy beard with XYZ, you can say get a thick beard which your lady would love to stroke on. Okay, so that will make them visualize that they have a thick beard, and their lady or their spouse or their girlfriend who is stroking on their beard. So what we did over here, we took a lot of emotions, and we took a lot of visualization, and we included a lot of sensations, right? If you involve all the senses, arouse the curiosity, get involved all the senses. Like when you say cover patchy beard with XYZ beard oil, it is just that much, like patchy beard, and they are able to visualize that patchy beard that they have, and they will buy. But when you say that, get a thick beard that your lady would love to stroke on, now they can see their girlfriend stroking on their thick beard, right? So that creates a scene in their idea, and they feel like, oh, I want to read more about this. So I hope I answered your question, Shobhit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay, I think we got the answers. Definitely, this not it's not going to end.
Yeah. A lot of ways in which that can be answered. I've tried to answer it in a very short time. If I come up with a better answer, like I'll definitely reach out to you. Sure.
Yeah, picturizing things like when I think somewhere storytelling comes into the play, uh, because when someone tells a story, we generally want to wait and listen to that. One of the skill I think people can use it, and to keep the flow or to keep the curiosity continuously going on. And like you gave a very good example, like you gave visualizing the things, how it can actually impact. So that's great actually. So Shreyas, it was a great session actually today. We are like approximately like 90 minutes, like 1.5 hours, and still I think um, there are 14 participants in this, and there are even uh, people who are actually not just into copy, they are like into, they are solopreneurs, infopreneurs, and business owners even, because I know some of them. And definitely the copywriting can help any business, and many people don't think only copywriting for the advertising part. I think it's also good for website pages, especially the home page of a website for a specific business. I think a very good copywriting should be there, or else whatever you want to communicate to your audience is not being communicated. So I think people should consider that, and think of those elements, having that copywriting thing in place to build that things. Yeah, you can feel free to reach to Shreyas Patil. So he has shared his Facebook handle, as well as I think it's a Facebook handle 2 times coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, if you share the LinkedIn also, it's good that they can reach out to you. And he is also inside our niche marketers Facebook group, and he's also inside our WhatsApp group. So uh, you can actually tag him when you feel like you have a question or something.
Guys, like,
That's great.
is there any other question that you guys want? I did. Ashish, I've done it.
Yeah, now everything, LinkedIn link and Facebook link is here. So anyone, before we depart, anything you want to share or anything you want to talk, you're free to talk and we'll just discuss. Any list of top copy in fashion? Sir, any list of top?
So check out the big brands. Check out the biggest brands in e-commerce and fashion industry. Most of the big brands, they know what copywriting is, and they will always hire good copywriters.
Zara.
Yeah, Zara. See, when I say top brands, when it comes to Zara capitalizes on social status. Okay, they can have very few words. However, like brands which are moving towards upper status, they need to be their copy needs to be considered. Okay, if you go to Zara, their copy might not be that good. Like it is good because they have positioned themselves over there, right? Writing copy on boring topics like manufacturing, how to overcome this. So some things, like when it comes to manufacturing, it is B2B copy, right? So go and talk with people who are into manufacturing, listen to their funny stories around manufacturing, try to put that into your copy, and it will definitely make them laugh. Like that is your skill, that is what you get paid for, that is what you can show other people in your portfolio and say that, hey, I made this copy like very, humorous. Like I'll just give an example. This is not for manufacturing, but yeah, like you can say that, let us say it is an engineering course. So you can say that most of the engineers, most of the mechanical engineers out in the 4th year of engineering don't even know the basic difference between a nut and a bolt, right? Which is true and which is funny, and which makes people think about engineering courses. So you can put a little bit of storytelling there, make them visualize. That's what.
And I think Shreyas, like even though people say like if it is boring for you, because manufacturing is something which you don't understand as a writer or copywriter, but it is not boring for the people who are in manufacturing, who have the
Correct.
trouble points. They have the trouble points. So if you are able to just research more about them, what are their pain points, what do they go through, and empathize with their problems, then definitely you can write a copy which exactly resonates, because mechanical engineering means B2B manufacturing, everywhere a human being is there. There is a problem, there is a issue with this thing. So it's not at all boring for the persons who are reading or who are having a pain point. So we need to think in that angle. And of course, some topics you can't spice it up a lot. Some still, because you can get creative up to some extent. People use it. So like what Shreyas told. So maybe that, I think I can add that thing, because I worked in B2B segment where I used to write email sequences even. So that's challenging because we can't experiment a lot. We can't become much informal in that thing. So, but still you can experiment and see and try. Anything you want to add, Shreyas, before?
Nothing, sir. Same thing.
Okay, I
Just
think
what you said. Like
yeah,
people, they're on the other side. They're
human beings.
people.
Yeah, they are humans as well.
Yeah, human beings. Even if it is B2B, there is a human being on the other end of reading the copy. So whatever you said makes total sense.
Yeah, okay, then definitely it's nice catching you up, everyone. Thank you, Shreyas, for taking the time and sharing great insights about copywriting. So people can start their copywriting journey who are actually into it. And someone of you want to get more detailed copywriting sessions, uh, you can actually WhatsApp me, and I will try to arrange some sessions. But again, it can be a workshop or something kind of deeper ones, if things permit, with Shreyas or something. So it may be a paid one, but we'll keep it reasonable and we'll see how it can work. Because like 4 hours of time or 5 hours of time to make it happen, I think it's not so easy. So we have to respect the time of the person, and we can make it happen. Let us see if Shreyas and we can, niche marketers can work out something which is good. Like we recently did a freelancer to agency workshop, which got very good response. We took like it was for 15 people and we took 14 people, and it was like huge response. I'll share the testimonials and all we got to that. Highly practical workshop we did. Like it's a 3-day workshop. Like totally like 12 to 13 hours was taken. Yeah, whoever is like interested in a workshop or more detailed sessions, you can WhatsApp me on this, and I'll see if based on the interest I can actually. I'll also shoot an email to all the registrants. Then they can also tell if they're interested. If there are enough number of people who are interested, we can think about it. And Shreyas is ready to do it. We can think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Shreyas, we can call it a day, I think.
Sure, sir.
Thank you, everyone. So
thank you once again for.
bye, good night.